Hello, this is Morning Thoughts with Teresa Beam and Arthur, my sweet husband.
Good morning.
Who many say is full of toxic masculinity, which I'm all for. I love your toxic masculinity, sweetheart.
Thank you. Yes.
Okay, so this morning we are discussing the fact that our Catholic Church, at the end of Mass, continued its campaign for repairs for the church, which is going to be in the millions of dollars. And I thought it was totally inappropriate for the church during this crisis to focus on money. I thought it was a little bit crude.
I'm calling this discussion, While the Bishops Fiddled Around, Rome Burned. I don't know. Asking for money at this time seems horrifying to me because worrying about the church, yes, on one hand you need to worry about the building, but when it's being corrupted and it's rotting from the inside out, it's kind of unconscionable to ask for money.
Before we get into that, I want to share a story about when we lived in Dublin, Ireland for a short period. As we weren't tourists, but, we wanted to go see all the beautiful buildings while we were there. And so we went and saw the great ancient cathedrals, that had been there for 1,000 years and that had been stolen by the state and made to be something like an Irish version of the Anglican Church. And the Catholics who had built these churches were relegated to worshiping in these like new, beautiful, and there were less beautiful buildings. And I started to get incensed after a while, seeing how the Church of Ireland had stripped down the ancient Catholic churches of all the beauty of some of their statues and had replaced them with statues of politicians. Mm-hmm. I complained to a white-haired, elderly Irish man one day, and what he said to me really changed my entire way of thinking about this. He said to me, "Ma'am, Irish Catholics know that it's just a building. They stripped it of its tabernacle and the real presence of God." And then he trailed off. It's just a building. And I thought about that. You know what? He's right. The building, no matter how ancient and beautiful, means nothing if the presence of God isn't there. Okay, so that brings us back to last Sunday.
Right. So the sexual predator crisis was recently exposed, and the overwhelming corruption was ridiculous, and the cover-up was horrendous. So we are...
Yeah, that was the prominent bishops and cardinals.
Right.
Yeah.
So we were in Mass, and they started handing out these bookmarkers. And I thought, well, that's kind of nice, just bookmarkers, so you can keep track
really pretty.
of... so you can keep track of the songs and everything, because you have several during Mass. And then we look on them and find out that they are a specifically written prayer for what? The corruption going on, the poor people that have been attacked? No, they are for the money, to get money to improve the church.
To repair. The church needed repair.
Right. If we are totally morally corrupt, what in the world are we thinking about money to give to the church? So one massive reparation won't do it when we have a year-long campaign for money for the building. Look, while money's necessary, it shouldn't be seen as more important than the crisis and the people. We need to be hearing about the bishop's cover-up and how the church is handling this crisis every single Mass for a long time.
Yeah, I agree with that.
If we spend 10 Masses on money, fine, but we need 100 Masses discussing the cover-up.
Okay, but you don't mean the Masses, like the Masses are for many. You just meant like when they bring it up
Correct.
At the end. Or
right.
Okay, like at
exactly.
Announcements.
So don't let the priest your priest especially, sweep it under the rug. It needs to be talked about. We need to hear that it's being worked on and what they're doing specifically about it. Let the church buildings burn.
Yeah.
Let them fall down. The buildings are nothing compared to the salvation and the gospel message. Just like our friend in Ireland said, it's only
a building.
A building.
Yeah.
Better to stop the corruption. As Christ said, pluck out your eye if it offends thee. Don't worry about money. I'll worry about money for you.
Yeah.
It's time for the bishops to show us their trust in God. It's on important things like money, things like that. Let Christ worry about the money. You, as bishops, priests, and deacons need to be worried about the souls of the church.
Yeah, and driving the evil
Absolutely,
out.
absolutely.
And it's not the evil among the people, it's the evil of the bishops and cardinals.
Cover up. Yes, their good stewardship is supposed to be for souls, not for the money.
That's right. Well, thank you, honey, for being with me this morning.
Absolutely.
This is Morning Thoughts with Teresa Beam, and have a great day.